It's a new year, and that's really all there is to it. Yet somehow, we as a society keep on making a big deal out of it with parties and the big ball drop in Times Square and so many other things that we do to celebrate just the changing of the calendar. Seriously, what's up with that? Other holidays, I get the reason for them being, I'm talking like actual federal holidays, like the ones that are complete days off, not ones like Halloween or Valentine's Day that are there, but no one ever gets the day off for that, unless it happens to be on a Saturday or Sunday, or they choose to take the day off. I know I took Halloween off to go to the Museum of Science and the Guy Fieri restaurant, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That being said, though, New Year's is ridiculous because it just celebrates the changing of the calendar. Halloween celebrates All Hallows Eve and spooky stuff and etc. Valentine's Day celebrates romance. Easter, on the religious side, celebrates the Passion of the Christ, if you will, while the secular side makes it more of a general spring celebration, both of them celebrating rebirth of some kind. One is the actual thing that it is, the other is a secularized version meant to, I don't know, be more inclusive, make non-religious people feel more included. But either way, most of the time you don't get a day off. Maybe you get Good Friday off, but not Easter Sunday. Well, because technically you already had it off. I'm trying to say something that doesn't come off as plagiarizing this other YouTube video about holidays that I watched called from a guy called Big Tug. So I guess let's go through the federal holidays of the year and why they're there. So first, today as this is being dropped today, the day this is being dropped on, New Year's Day. Big Tug said it was the first one of the year. I think it's more of a holiday because it's a recovery from because everyone stayed up to ring in the new year right at midnight. So as I record this tonight, everyone will be staying up till midnight to watch the ball drop on TV or do whatever they're doing. Me, I'm just gonna watch my next few episodes of Severance and the movie Falling Down, which is among the movies that I got with a Fandango gift card from my sister for Christmas. But I'm not going to stay up and watch the ball drop. I don't do that anymore because I realize that the whole holiday is kind of stupid because by that logic, you could celebrate Happy New Month every month of the year. But we don't get the first of every month off from everything, assuming you don't work retail, food service, or other jobs that are considered essential that would require you to show up on New Year's Day. Oh, happy New Minute, because from I'm monitoring this on my watch, we just crossed the 6 minute mark. Are we gonna get time off for off because it's a new minute? Oh, hey, it's midnight now. Happy New Day. You see what I'm getting at? You see how stupid this all is if you actually sit down and think about it? It's why I personally don't do anything for New Year's. But if you like to do that, more power to you. One of my friends stays up till midnight the night before his birthday to take a screenshot of the change of the date. Of course, that makes more sense because the second that happens, you're now considered the next age you are. So, 2 days from the release of this video, I'll be turning 28. So, when the clock rolls over or from 11:59 p.m. on January 2nd to 12 a.m. on January 3rd, I will be 28 years old, even though I'm pretty sure I wasn't born right at midnight. So anyway, getting to the talking about the other holidays and why they're there and why they all make more sense than New Year's Day and the reasoning for that. In January, you have Martin Luther King Day on the third Monday in honor of Martin Luther King's legacy. I think that's a very worthy holiday to have. His I Have a Dream speech is iconic, and he helped make a lot of civil rights gains. So that's a good holiday to have. Makes much more sense than New Year's Day. Fast forward to President's Day, the combined celebration of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln's birthdays. Washington's early on made sense because he was the first president and he set the precedent of two-term limits. Lincoln led the country through the Civil War. Their birthdays happen to be February 12th and 22nd. I believe Lincoln's the 12th and Washington's the 22nd. So, third Monday of February is a good halfway point. Makes a lot more sense than having New Year's Day as a holiday. Okay, fast forward to March, April, May. May you have Memorial Day, which is to honor the soldiers who gave their lives for this country. Of course, it gets used for more things like big promotional sales and beach trips with cookouts and drinking and such. Actually, when I rewatched The Santa Clauses, I think Buddy Calvin made a very good point about how messed up it is that we use a holiday like that for such festivities. Now, I think a lot of people and a lot of you probably in the comments will be rationalizing it by saying, we're using the freedoms that they gave their lives for. Okay, I can see the point on that. Still makes a lot more sense than New Year's Day. Fast forward to June, Juneteenth, the most recently added one. Freeing of freeing of the last slaves who found out that they were free. That's a good holiday to have on. That's a good holiday to have a day off for. Still much better than New Year's Day and the line of reasoning we have for New Year's Day being a holiday. And then July, Independence Day, or the 4th of July, whichever you want to call it, America's birthday. That holiday definitely makes sense to have. Personally, I like to sit down and watch Independence Day and The Patriot back to back on that day if I can, or around it, because as Roland Emmerich made two great movies for the 4th of July. Yeah, but still, anyway, it makes more sense to have Independence Day as a holiday than New Year's Day because that's the birthday of the country that the holiday is celebrating. And then fast forward to, hold on, what's the next one after Independence Day? August, September. Oh, yeah, Labor Day in September. It's meant to honor workers of the country, just like May Day in the rest of the world. I actually had a sociology teacher who thought it was kind of ridiculous that America did their version of May Day in September, but I don't see the problem. It's the last gasp of summer, technically, the whole don't wear white after Labor Day thing, even though some of the workers who it's meant to honor or like in retail and such are still made to work that day because, well, the other jobs don't have, uh, the other jobs aren't in session, and it's not as frowned upon to be open on Labor Day as it is for Thanksgiving or Christmas, which we will get to those in just a bit. Either way, honoring workers of America still makes way more sense to have a holiday for than New Year's Day, which again is just celebrating the changing of the calendar. And then you have, what is it, October. Then October, you have Columbus Day slash Indigenous Peoples Day, which I just call the federal holiday on the second Monday of October. The original intent was to honor Christopher Columbus discovering America, or at least landing in the vicinity of it on October 12th, 1492. Because of all the ugliness of what happened after the fact, that's why there's been the push for changing it to Indigenous Peoples Day or removing it after adding Juneteenth so that there aren't too many federal holidays and the government isn't closed too often. Although hilariously, the Babylon Bee had an article that said libertarians push to make every day a federal holiday. I'm sorry, that's just funny right there. But yeah, the original intent to discuss the discovery of the new world by the Europeans of the time. Yes, there were the Vikings, but it is what it is, and I feel like I'm walking on eggshells with this one, so I'm just gonna say, call the holiday whatever you want. Celebrate or don't celebrate whatever you want to celebrate on that day. Me, I'm just gonna call it the federal holiday on the second Monday of October and leave it at that. It's a historically significant moment. We'll just move on from there. But either way, the original line of reasoning and the line of reasoning for calling it Indigenous Peoples Day still make way more sense than having New Year's Day as a holiday. Fast forward to, what is it, November, you have two of them. The 11th, you have Veterans Day. Not as many parties and other social gatherings because it's so cold out by that time of year, at least in most of the country. If you're down south, you're in a good place, unless you're acclimated to that, in which case, mid 60s temperatures are going to feel cold to you, as I observed when I went to Florida last month now, this month as I record this. Anyway, it was originally meant to honor the end of World War One when it ended on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, and it was the end of World War One, then called the Great War, which was very significant for the time. Yeah, I don't know when they expanded it to include honoring all veterans. It also happens to be the day after the birthday of the United States Marine Corps. Either way, still a way better, still makes more sense for having a holiday for that compared to New Year's Day. And then you have Thanksgiving, yeah, national holiday for gratitude. Regardless of how you feel about the origins, the fact is it's a day that's dedicated for people to spend time with their families. That's one of the only two where pretty much everything that isn't a movie theater or a Chinese food restaurant are closed. Fun fact, when I worked at a movie theater, I worked Thanksgiving of that year, only from about 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's actually way slower than Christmas Day, but still, I'm not going to complain because I still had Thanksgiving lunchtime as we usually do every year, so it's not the end of the world, but getting back to it being a federal holiday, the sentiment of spending time with family still makes a lot more sense to have it as a federal holiday than New Year's Day, even if you ignore the story of the pilgrims. And then finally, you've got Christmas Day. That's the big one. Everywhere that is not a Chinese food restaurant or a movie theater is closed on that day so that people can be with their families. Those two, Thanksgiving and Christmas, are the two holidays that where it's frowned upon if you're open on those days and keeping workers away from their families. That's why all those stores stopped doing their Black Friday deals beginning on Thanksgiving night. Overall, Christmas, regardless of whether you're celebrating the birth of Jesus or not, still makes a lot more sense to have it as a federal holiday, just as a day to exchange gifts and be with family, or at the very least, be with family if you don't want to do the gift exchange thing. It promotes peace on earth and goodwill. It's a good holiday to have, even without the religious context. And it still makes a lot more sense to have it as a federal holiday compared to New Year's Day, which is now upon us. And if you stayed up till midnight for to ring in the new year, that's your call. I respect your decision, even if I don't personally agree with it. That being said, though, I have no intention of partaking in New Year's festivities because I still think it's kind of a dumb holiday if you sit down and think about it. I'm pretty sure the only reason it's a federal holiday is because everyone knows that everyone's going to stay up to bring in the new year, unless you're me or someone who has to get up for something the next morning. Like, my sister was in a marching band that was in the Rose Bowl. Yeah, she and her peers were not allowed to stay up till midnight that New Year's Eve because they had to be up early on New Year's Day to get ready and all that. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only reason it's a federal holiday. Though, by that logic, the day after Easter should be a federal holiday. Black Friday should be a federal holiday. By that logic, the day after pretty much any other holiday should, hey, or something like that that falls on a weekend should be a day off for everyone. Boxing Day, as it's called, should be a no way. I'm pretty sure the stores would still okay. It can be a day that the stores would still be open because they get gift cards in and all that. But yeah, and then if we're really gonna go down the rabbit hole, why doesn't the government add Valentine's Day as a federal holiday? Give people a day off to ensure or being able to have a date. Why not make Halloween a federal holiday while we're at it? I also wouldn't be against a Festivus being made a holiday and not just because of Seinfeld. But I think I've gone on long enough raging against New Year's Day being a holiday. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm just being salty and coping about the fact that I wasn't invited to anything or that I don't bother to do anything? I love to hear it. Be sure to give this video a like or give it a dislike if you think it deserves it for being negative towards a holiday that you like. Me personally, I just realized I think I'm okay with it being more on the level of Valentine's Day or Halloween where we acknowledge it, but it's not going to be a formal day off, but but it shouldn't be a formal day off for everyone that isn't retail, food service, hospitality, essential workers, etc. Subscribe for daily videos. I'm going to try and keep going with daily uploads as far into 2025 as I can. I'm going to make sure to get at least past January 17th, which is the day that most New Year's resolutions fizzle out. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.